episode of Moms on a Mission is brought to you by our good friends at Beverly Hills Precious Metals. In light of recent bank instability, diversification is a must. Go to bh-pm.com today to protect your wealth. That's bh-pm.com and use promo code MISSION to save a little money. That's bh-pm.com code MISSION. And we would love to hear from you. Email us at moms@momsonamission.net. That's moms@momsonamission.net. And then check us out on our website at momsonamission.net. And please follow us on your favorite platform.
Well, today we are going to be talking about the amazing benefits of aquatic exercise and how it might be the best workout for you. Our guest today has 30 years of experience in health and fitness. She has a master's in health promotion. She is an American College of Sports Medicine exercise physiologist, which is not an easy feat, I can tell you that for sure, a Red Cross Water Safety Instructor, and an AEA aquatic fitness professional. Welcome to the show, Janet Crockett.
Thank you.
Hi, Janet. This is especially fun for me because Janet and I are colleagues. We've taught classes for many years, and I'm excited to be talking about health and fitness again today.
And how long have y'all worked together?
26
Yeah.
years.
Wow.
Yeah, a long
Yeah.
time.
Y'all are like family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Wow.
Mhm.
Well, Janet, tell us who you are and what you do.
I am the aquatics coordinator for the health zone at St. Francis.
Okay.
But that also includes, I've also do Pilates, senior programming or active aging programming and active aging and Pilates as well, including a Pilates studio. So there's lots of hats that I have to wear, but it's fun. And I don't think that there's another job like mine in anywhere.
No.
Yeah.
She does.
Yeah.
She can do it all at the health zone. She knows every
Not
facet of it.
everything,
Well,
but-
just about. Just about.
Seems like it.
Yeah, seems like it for sure.
Aw.
Well, so Miriam and I are both avid runners. Over the years, I know, Miriam, you've run at least several half marathons, right?
Yeah, I think maybe three. Or
Okay.
four.
And a
Three?
full or no?
No.
No full.
not
Okay.
yet.
Okay. Well, I did my first half marathon last fall, the Route 66, and I loved it. I loved the run. The training part was quite a challenge. And part of the reason it was such a challenge, I'm going to blame partly because of my age. But I think it would have been hard no matter the age because of the pounding, just that pounding, and it's high intensity, high intensity, high impact on the knees, the ankles. And so I ran across this article and I thought of you, Janet, immediately.
Okay.
So this article in the Wall Street Journal, and I will link it to our show, but it says injured marathoner sprints in the water. And basically what it was talking about was this woman who was training for a marathon. And she got injured and thought, well, I'm done. I can't do the marathon. And then she discovered aqua jogging.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, I know an expert in aqua jogging. She's been asking me for years to do that. So can you tell us more about aqua jogging and how that might be a good fit for not only people for marathon training, just they don't have the impact, but just for anybody?
The basic premise behind it is you've got a flotation belt that you would put around your waist, which suspends you off the bottom of the pool. Ideally, you want to be in deep water, but some pools just aren't deep enough. So you can still do the same activities or exercises in a shallow pool. We just call it a modified exercise. You could also run in a normal shallow depth pool if you'd like. So, but the water helps support you. The buoyancy of the water helps support you, which alleviates the stress off the joints, which is the benefit that she had. And so she's able to, through injury, work through those types of things, and also think about the resistance of the water.
Oh.
And no matter which direction you pick your foot up or set it down, you're working against that resistance. So you're getting benefits because you're also training all the muscles that surround the joint. So from a standpoint of not just the injured area, not just moving in one direction, but all different directions.
So how hard is it to get your heart rate up? Because I have to admit, I've never done it. Because she was talking about how she was getting her heart rate up high enough to get real training benefits.
Well, keep in mind though, the hydrostatic pressure of the water, which if the deeper you go in the water, the more pressure that you get exerted on the body, and the cooling effects of the water, which most pools are anywhere from, I would say, 84 up to 88, 90 degrees. And that's going to help keep your heart rate at a lower level than it would if you were running on land. And for a lot of people, they enjoy that and because they feel like they can exercise for longer periods of time because they do that. But with that being said, some people think that, oh, I'm not going to get my heart rate elevated, so I'm not working as hard. But you actually are, if not more so.
I have a question. So
Sure.
I did start training for a marathon and got injured, but in training, even for a half marathon, sometimes coaches will have others do like cross training. So would this be a form of cross training that somebody could do with the regular running outside and with the heart rate? Sometimes I feel like you can get negative feedback about running on a treadmill when you're racing outside because it doesn't prepare your body, exactly for the race.
Sure.
But with your heart rate staying lower like that, does that help you? I mean, does that simulate running enough that it would be beneficial in the training program?
Well, absolutely. And my main reason for that is because you can go as hard as you want to in the water. And for some people, they can go harder than they've ever gone on land because you usually get too hot. But in the water, you can go for longer because you're not feeling as hot. You're not getting as much overheated.
Yeah.
I'm going to need to try this.
Yeah.
I just thought of water aerobics, but I didn't really,
there's a lot of new stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
There's a lot.
stuff.
Well, is this workout good for all populations of people? And can you find classes in Tulsa?
Yes, absolutely. We do group exercise with kids all the way up to, and we have clients in their 90s that are up there. And a lot of times our water exercisers, though, I do encourage them to do exercise outside of the pool because we live in a gravity environment. So it's really important that you do cross train for both. But like I said before, with the water, you can work so much harder in the water. So just imagine somebody who has an injury and hasn't been able to do a lot. You put them in the water and it's almost freeing to them because they can all of a sudden do those, like somebody that hasn't run in years, put them in the water and they can run. And it's a very freeing kind of thing. And also because of the buoyancy of the water, which helps hold them up, they can actually work through a larger range of motion. So they're actually probably going to get more out of the workout than they would normally.
And do you recommend group classes or private, or is it just a personality thing?
It's pretty much up to the individual and what their needs are. I mean, if you have somebody who's very new to water, I would recommend starting with just a one-on-one, and then we can incorporate them into some of the group exercise classes. And then you have some people that's what they want. They want a more individual workout, just like personal training.
Sure.
So you would want to do more privates with them.
Okay.
Yeah. And in this article, they even talked about, getting it's just a belt that you buy. There's not a lot of big time equipment. Right.
You have a couple of options. There's the belt that goes around.
Okay.
And then you also have what looks like water rings. You can put those on too, just like you do with the kids.
Okay.
And then you can use a noodle if you want to. Noodles are really cheap. You can get those anywhere for $1, $2.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about that. I always think of the really expensive stuff first. So I'm glad you gave us those options, because the other thing in this article was talking about, there's some apps out there now that can kind of guide you through that. So if you had your own pool, or you're going to be traveling, to places where there's going to be a lot of pools opening soon, it might be something you want to try.
Right.
And honestly, when I think about traveling and running, I sometimes don't want to go outside. Julie is really a diehard runner. She'll go out and run when it's 90, and I'm like on my treadmill, like baby runner over here. But when you travel, sometimes if there isn't a treadmill and it's like 90 degrees, but if they have a pool, that just, it really is
kind of opens up a whole new world.
Yes, it does.
No excuses.
That's right. Thanks, Julie.
When I think of running too, most people think of it as running forward. When I think of running in the water, I think about running forward and running backwards and running to the left and running to the right. That way you're working all the muscles that surround it.
Yeah. So good.
So there's that muscular balance thing that's coming in.
Well, and that brings up my next question. So we're talking about aqua jogger, but there are a lot of new things that have come to the water. And one that I think about that you have grabbed me and taken me into the pool is the aqua stand-up board. So tell us about that and what is so great about that. I'm not going to say, I'll let you share that.
The paddle boarding is kind of new. You see it, everybody's doing paddle boarding on the lakes. And I went to a conference, and they had these paddle boards, and what they did is they tethered them to the side of the pool. And you did paddling with them. You could do yoga, you could do Pilates, you can do cardio-based classes. And it's one of my favorite classes. So we introduced it probably 3 or 4 years
Right before
ago,
COVID.
right before
Yeah.
COVID. And it's a small group class because I can only have a certain number of boards because they're not just the regular surfboards, they're the big paddle boards. So I can only have a certain number of those in the pool. But it's become one of my favorite classes because it's a very unique workout because you have the properties of the water plus some of the land-based stuff. And then because of the balance, then you're using a lot of those little muscle fibers that you don't normally use when you do like a squat or even a push-up or anything like that.
It is so hard, Miriam.
It's hard.
It is, but it's good. No, I
Yeah.
like a challenge, But I fell off of that board several times.
I
The
did
balance
too.
aspect of it, though, that's what I love about it. Because so many people don't realize that they're losing. I don't mean to scare you guys out there, but as you're getting older, your balance is not as good.
Yeah.
If you're not working on balance, you're losing some ability to stay balanced on your feet. And when you're running around, you're just in your daily activities. So I loved that. And it really showed me some of my deficiencies. And we do have to check that every once in a while, the muscular imbalances.
Absolutely.
And so you think you're really great doing a squat. We'll try that on the aqua board.
I
We need to
can't
go
see
do
that.
that.
No,
And Mom's on a
I
mission.
do stuff like that on the Julie will tell me what it's
Like a
called.
BOSU.
Yes,
BOSU ball. Yeah.
I'll do that and that's a little challenging, but this must take it to a whole nother level.
This
Yeah,
is
because
the
you don't
whole-
want to go
yeah.
in the water, but then you do.
Yeah.
I'm like,
then you do.
yeah.
Then you do.
Yeah, you get to cool off a little bit.
You
Wow.
But
And
a
go
lot of
ahead.
people surprise themselves that they are able to get up on the board and do the exercises. So normally I encourage people to at least try it one time so you can see that you did it. And then if it's not your thing, it's not your thing,
Well,
and we can find something.
That's
else
what I was
for
going to
to
ask you.
do.
How popular is the class?
It's very kitschy, I guess you could
Mhm,
say.
mhm.
And because it's a fee-based class too, sometimes
Oh,
for some
yeah.
people that's a bit of a turnoff.
Yeah, sure.
But and I think the biggest obstacle for most people is just, I don't think I can get up on that board.
Mhm.
So instead of just not even trying it, I'm just not going to do it.
Is there a
Yeah.
certain population that you find that it's who is more popular with?
When we originally were certified in it, it was just a general population, so a young, but we found that actually most of my regulars are older.
Yeah.
I have a gentleman who's in the 70s and in his 70s,
Mhm.
and he started just kneeling on the board and eventually progressed to where he can do everything standing, and he's absolutely amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Well, I would challenge any of the younger people to
Mhm.
try it. It's not a
It's fun.
midlife person, workout.
Right,
It's really for
right.
all ages. But talking about classes, before we move on to another topic, are there any other classes you'd like to highlight that you think are great classes for the water?
We kind of talked about this the other day,
Mhm.
where HIIT is really popular right
Mhm.
now.
Mhm.
HIIT is amazing in the water because of the cooling effects of the water. Your
Mhm.
recovery is a whole lot faster. Your
Could
heart
you
rate
explain what
decreases.
that is for people
Yeah.
who might not
Yeah.
know what that is?
HIIT is an interval-based class, generally high intensity training.
Mhm.
And there's different modalities to do that, but generally you want to get the heart rate as high as you can, and then you recover,
Mhm.
and then you get as high as you can, and then recover. And of course, your very hard is going to be different than my very hard
Right.
versus, so it's pretty relative as far as
Yeah.
that's concerned.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's great in the water because the recovery periods in the water are very, very small.
That's I need to do that. I find that I like the long and slow, training.
The moderate intensity.
Yeah.
sure.
But that just goes to say that we should do a variety of things, not just cross training, but with like a bike and running and water, but also different types of, low impact and then, or
Mhm.
low intensity, high intensity.
Yeah.
If you don't challenge yourself, then you're not going to see improvements in muscular strength, muscular endurance, cardiovascular endurance, all those kinds of things. And even for somebody who's very deconditioned or has a lot of joint issues, small portions of HIIT are very, 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 very good for
Yeah,
them.
I'm glad you brought that up
Yeah.
because I think so many people get discouraged
Sure.
because they think, oh, it's an hour-long class, or I can't do this, or I can't. Just a few minutes, adding a few minutes every day does wonders for your body, and you build up. It's a slow build up.
Or just imagine you only have to exercise at a high intensity for 5 seconds
Yeah,
or 10
yeah,
seconds.
yeah.
It doesn't have to be a
A long
long
time.
interval.
Right.
Right.
And honestly, I don't even think Julie knows this. I didn't tell her, but I heard from one of our listeners who said that when we were talking about health and wellness, that this listener started a group where they do some exercises, stretching and things of that nature. And she's already, feeling better about herself and things like that just from,
it keeps just looking young, right?
Yes.
And feeling young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sleeping better and things of that nature. Summer's right around the corner, and a lot of moms are wanting their kids in swimming lessons. And according to the Childhood Safety Association, every year in the U.S., nearly 900 children and adolescents ages 0 to 19 die from unintentional drowning. You are a Red Cross instructor. Can you give our audience some recommendations on swimming lessons, and how would they know which lessons are best?
Well, with us being Red Cross accredited, I do encourage people to go to Red Cross, because Red Cross has all their classes posted onto their website so that they can refer them to you. And any of your local YMCA, YWCA, they do swim lessons as well. And then certain cities, like we have Miller Swim School that's located here. So that's a big one for us here in this area. So, and just any place that has a pool, if you have somebody that was a lifeguard as a kid, hey, can you give my kids some swim lessons? And I'm sure they'd be more than happy to.
Is the Red Cross have a method that's different than some of these other programs? I won't name them, but just some of the other, what makes maybe the Red Cross a little different than some of the other lessons?
They provide a basic format for when we go through and teach each child at each level. And then of course, the big thing with me with Red Cross is everybody knows Red Cross. So that's why we continue to stay accredited with the Red Cross.
Yeah.
And do you have an age that you like to start? I know when I had little kids, I felt like I got them in the water, and I know some of the schools like get them in there with their swim diapers on and start lessons. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, and I know the American Pediatrics recommends, I don't think they recommend until they start after the age of 2, but honestly, I would start them as infants and put them in the bathtub, pour water over their head. A lot of kids don't like the water over their face, and the only reason is because it's just an unusual feeling.
Right.
And it's not because they're being hurt. It's just because it feels different. So make sure that when you're in the bathtub with them, that you're pouring the water over the face. And actually, when the water goes over the face, there's some, I don't know if it's receptors is the right word I'm looking for. And it stimulates you to stop breathing. So they hold their breath when they pour water over the face.
That's interesting.
So that's how we teach breath control with children as young. You can't say, okay, stop, hold your breath, but you can teach them when to hold their breath. You give them proper cueing and then teach them how to hold their breath.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
It is. And it's so important to get your kids in swimming lessons. I mean, so I encourage our listeners to, Red Cross or maybe your local pool. And like Janet said, there's a lot of instructors across the city that are also lifeguards. Reach out to them. And I think it's great to start them now before all the pools start opening, before you start going to the lake.
Right, exactly.
One other question on this topic. A lot of people, you start when they're babies, maybe, 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever. It's when you stop. Cause I still question my mom advice to myself back then. I don't remember when I stopped swimming lessons for my kids, but do you kind of have an idea of they need to get to a certain point? I know not everybody's going to be, a Michael Phelps, but we can all be proficient swimmers.
Well, it kind of depends on the individual family. So one of the things we talk about is what your goals are. Where are you wanting to go? What level are you wanting to go? And it also depends on the child or even adult for that matter. And how quickly they adapt to what you're teaching them. Some people are just more adapted than others. Lost my train of thought.
Well, just like, is there a stopping point? Like, once they can learn all the basic strokes, or are you looking for something in particular? Or is that just more up to the family, really?
It kind of is. When it comes to teaching children, my basics is they have to know how, and this sounds really remedial, but they have to know how to get in a pool. They have to know how to get out of a pool. Just imagine if you're fearful of the water and you don't know how to get out of the pool, how fearful you would be. So they have to know those things. Also the depth of the pool, where the shallow end is, where the deep end is. They need to be able to crawl out using the pool wall on their own. I also like to work on basic recovery positions. So how to get from vertical to horizontal.
Mhm.
And then just some basic how to motivate and move in the water. And it doesn't necessarily have to be swimming. It could be something like what we call monkey on the wall, where you move across the wall with your hands.
Yeah.
Everybody does that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so if you get to a point where it's too deep, I can use monkey on the wall and I can go to the
It
steps
sounds
and I
like
can
that's
crawl
very
in.
safety based.
Yes.
It is. And those are my basics. If we can just get those, then I think I would feel better about the summer.
You feel
for
better
sure.
about kids being
Absolutely.
around the water,
Absolutely.
and parents too want their kids to
Absolutely.
be
Yeah.
safe.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you're also a health and wellness expert outside of the pool, and you've been doing this for a long time. And
Okay.
so I'd like to just talk about some of the tips that you might want to, leave with our listeners. I know a lot of us are, like Miriam was just talking about, some friends who
Sure.
have been trying to get in shape. So I always like to get some personal tips from experts.
I would start pretty easy. Walking is a great exercise. You just got to put on it, especially this time of year because it's warmer outside. So just throw your tennis shoes out and go for a walk. Like you said earlier, start small, start maybe 5 minutes, and then you can progress from there. I also, one of my personal favorites is I have one of those stretchy bands that has the handles on the end. Some people call there's different names for them, extra tubes, things like that.
Yeah.
Have one of those, throw that in your bag. And if you get a few moments, you can do some squats with them. You can do all kinds of different things with the stretchy bands. And then for most people, the most important exercise, I think, for most people are going to be some strength training of some sort. Because as you get older, your muscles are starting to atrophy. And a lot of people have issues with balance. It's because their lower body is very weak. So if we can help
Good point.
maintain some muscular strength, that will help them as they age for sure.
Yeah. Those are great.
Well, how do you motivate yourself? I always say, Julie, I mean, she's a machine. I don't know if it's you.
You're
and
giving me too much credit.
you instructors are very, very motivated. Like she'll tell me she ran. It's like 90 degrees. And I'm like, oh, I was too tired. I didn't get on my treadmill, but she did. And I feel like there's something special about instructors where you all are very motivated. And I was wondering how you motivate yourself to stay on track with your wellness, your health and wellness goals.
Finding something that you really enjoy. And a lot of times it takes talking to somebody like Julie or myself to kind of walk through those things and to try different things on to see what is going to be entertaining for you, what's going to keep you coming back. And like I said, walking, it could start with something as simple as walking or here's the next thing.
She's getting ready.
Yeah, here we go. The social side of it for a lot of people.
Good idea.
Yeah.
So if you have a friend that walks and, I don't feel like walking today, that friend will say, nope, we're going to go walk today. So the social side of it is a biggie.
Yeah.
And this, Julie, at our facility as well, that is the number one draw for a lot of our people.
Oh, I love our people. Our people are the best. They're social, they're fit. I mean, I brag on our classes all the time. If you want to come get motivated, if you need to be motivated, just come over to the Health Zone and they will motivate you like crazy. Because some of the women that I've had in my classes have been coming to my classes for 26 years and they are aging very well.
Yes.
Aging very well. Yes.
Wow. You would never know it. You're like, oh, she's got to be in her 60s or 70s.
Yeah. Okay. So what's your personal favorite workout? Your personal favorite?
Honestly, I like to do a little bit of everything. I might, walk in and go, okay, now I feel like swimming today. And then the next day I might feel like, oh, the weather's beautiful. Let's go run outside today. Or, I might go want to lift some weights. My thing is just to keep it different.
I think that's the key. Because
Cross-training.
I feel like when I don't want to work out or whatever, it's because I'm running again. So maybe I should get on the bike and, do a little workout there.
Yeah. Or take a group exercise class because you've got people like Julie that are getting up there and cheer you on and just change it up. And also too, that's good for your body. You don't want to do the same things over and over again because then your body gets acclimated to it. And you want to change it up so that your body's constantly going, okay, what did you do to me today?
So we talked about the Health Zone. And so tell us a little bit more just where it's located, the hours, and how people could reach you if they have more questions about water or other, workout tips.
We're at 71st and Yale. We are part of St. Francis Hospital. So we are somewhat on the campus. We're open 7 days a week. And you
Very
can
early. You can start at 5
very
a.m.
early if you want to.
Ew.
Yeah.
That sounds awful.
And they do come at 5
Yes, they
a.m.
really
Yes, they
do.
do.
Yeah.
They do.
Wow.
I know.
Good for them. I think that's great.
Yeah, I know.
Absolutely. And they can call the health zone to get a hold of me.
Okay. And then go online, right? To see
yes,
the class
we do
schedule.
have a website. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And all of my information is located on there.
Yeah.
as
And that'll
well.
tell you when the classes are and it gives you a description of the classes and that there's special events going on.
Right.
And it's really an all-inclusive facility. One of the things, some people don't like big facilities, but what's so great about the health zone is you never talk about cross training. I mean,
there's so many things to do.
Yeah.
So
you
many
never get
things to
tired
do.
of it.
Right,
I mean,
right.
you might get tired of it, but they'll get
We'll
tired
find
of you.
something else for you to do, right?
Yeah. They might put you to work. I don't know.
Yeah, right?
We might.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Janet, for joining us today in Moms on
Absolutely.
Mission. It's such a
Fun.
pleasure to have you here. And definitely, I feel a bit more motivated to work out and cross train and try
Aqua
some
stand up.
Yes, I really would like to
Get
try
in the
that.
water.
Actually, I think that sounds
Feels
amazing.
good.
Yes. And we would love to hear from you. Just check us out at momsonamission.net. That's momsonamission.net, or email us with your comments or questions. We've had a few of you already do that from other states, and it's been so fun to hear from you and hear your support. And that's moms@momsonamission.net, moms@momsonamission.net. And please, please, please follow us on your favorite platform.
Moms on a Mission is excited to partner with our friends at MyPillow. According to sleep experts and sleephealth.org, over 50 million Americans struggle to get a good night's rest. That's where MyPillow comes in. They make the best pillows, sheets, mattresses, and mattress toppers. Several years ago, I was having trouble falling and staying asleep due to neck and shoulder pain. Luckily, I heard an ad about MyPillow and decided to give it a try. After 3 or 4 days, I really began to feel a difference. I was sleeping better and my neck and shoulders felt so much better. MyPillow really does help you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. Moms on a Mission wants you to get a great night's rest too. Go to mypillow.com right now and use the promo code MISSION for up to 66% off your purchase. MyPillow products are made in America and have a 60-day money-back guarantee and lifetime warranty. Remember, go to mypillow.com, put in the special code MISSION for your special Moms on a Mission discount. Thank you and God bless.
Hey guys, it's Moms on a Mission here. Are you worried about your financial stability and protecting the money for which you work so hard? The problem is stock market volatility and inflation. You may be wondering what you can do to preserve your family's wealth. We at Moms on a Mission encourage you to reach out to our friend Andrew Sorcini with Beverly Hills Precious Metals. Andrew is the expert in educating you to help you find the right balance of gold and silver for your family portfolio. He made it so easy for me to add precious metals to my financial investments. I simply mailed a check to Beverly Hills Precious Metals and my silver showed up on my doorstep a few days later. It was so easy. Go to bh-pm.com to save a little money and tell them that Moms on a Mission sent you. That's bh-pm.com. Don't wait. Protect your wealth today by going to bh-pm.com and tell them that Moms on a Mission sent you. Hi, everybody. It's Moms on a Mission here. Recent research from the CDC says that millions of Americans develop parasitic infections and symptoms often go unnoticed or are misdiagnosed.
Parasites are the cause of many health problems, such as anxiety, depression, chronic pain, fatigue, and unexplained digestive issues. We all need a common sense strategy to improve our health.
We at Moms on a Mission encourage you to reach out to our good friend, Dr. Jason Dean. Dr. Dean's Full Moon Protocol provides all-natural detoxification and fights inflammation. These supplements are made with 100% organic ingredients and are proven to kill parasites safely and effectively.
To order your Full Moon Protocol, go to bravetv.store/mission to save $20 off your first order. That's bravetv.store/mission. Order Full Moon Protocol and start killing those foreign invaders that have been keeping you sick. That's bravetv.store/mission to receive $20 off your first order.